10 weekends in jail, followed by 10 years probation. That's the punishment for a former Rochester police officer accused of raping a 13-year-old girl. Many out there expressed outrage over the sentence when it was announced yesterday, rightly pointing out some guilty of similar crimes get years in prison. But today, the Ontario County District Attorney told me why it was the best they thought they could get. Ontario County District Attorney Jim Ritz says he understands why people are upset. Former Rochester police officer Shawn will only spend fewer than a dozen weekends in jail for raping a young girl. He understands that, he says, because he's upset too.
I'm disappointed, truly, that Shawn did not get a sentence that he deserved.
But he says both his prosecutor and the judge in this case did what they could, saying the judge gave him the max under the agreement. Now, she could have not accepted that agreement, he says, but she knew Jordan would never have accepted another agreement that included prison time.
Child sex offenders in prison and police officers in prison, compound those things, and it would have, he knew exactly what he was facing if prison was in the works. I don't believe for a second that we would have resolved this with a plea had prison been the disposition.
Ritz says they were forced to negotiate because the case largely relied on the story of a child, and that story did not come out until well after the crime.
When you have a delayed disclosure, that impacts on the ability to obtain forensic evidence, for there to be medical evidence for any of those things that happen, and so they don't exist. And we know that they don't exist because time passes and bodies heal. And so what we're ending up with is a case that relies on a child going into court to talk about a sensitive subject in front of their accuser. And the re-victimization of a child in doing that is always like one of the things we have to consider.
Ritz says the victim's family was part of the conversation the entire time. Now, Jordan is also charged in Monroe County for a different crime. Coming up on News 8 at 6, why Ritz does not think that case will produce a bigger sentence here. He's also going to talk about why probation is far from a cakewalk.